Just realized for the first 30 seconds I've been talking, the mute button has been on. So, Deep Threat Sports Network fans, welcome into a fantastic episode here on Deep Threat Sports Network. Looks a little different right now. It is just me so far in this episode. I do think Brian is going to join me as we get going here a little bit in this episode. So, look forward to that. Nolan and Dave have some holiday things going on, so they will not be with us. And the mute button did get me for the first 30 seconds. Not used to being by myself when this thing gets going, so nobody there to bail me out on that one. But hey, on this episode, we're going to talk all things playoffs. And then at the beginning of this, though, while I'm kind of waiting for Brian to get in here, going to talk some of the latest portal guys to hop in. Some big names getting going in that portal since we met on Monday night. We did talk Monday night a little bit about Sam Levitt. It is confirmed Sam Levitt is in the portal. Slides right into the number one spot on three's rankings for portal transfers. It is crazy. I honestly kind of thought Sam Levitt would be an Arizona State guy for a long time. And I guess it's kind of ran its course there. So he's going to exercise the portal and see what he can get. A lot of teams going to be interested in him. What I do find funny is all these top quarterbacks, especially, it's like the same four teams. If you look at anything on social media, on X, it's everybody talking about how these same four teams are interested in these same guys. And it's crazy to me because I know that there's more teams and definitely interested in these players. I'm trying to read some of these comments as I go. Mike says Colin riding so it's going to be lit. Yeah, I do think Brian's going to get in here at some point, but right now, yeah, you do have me. Hey, happy football as well. Check out this background I made. I got to show everybody this real quick. This is a sweet background I made. Look at this. Got the snowmen playing football with Santa. Got a Christmas tree and presents. I mean, this thing is nice. But yeah, so back to Sam Levitt. I would imagine that he is going to be probably the highest paid guy in the portal and going to get a good job somewhere and probably have a lot of promise for the team that he ends up being on. Chaz Coleman hops in from Penn State. I know this was one of the guys that they did not want to lose off this program. He comes in and he's the number 2 ranked transfer on Penn State's roster, but he's the number 2 transfer according to On3. Going to be an instant impact whichever team he ends up on. He is a defensive end, and this dude is an absolute game wrecker, so this is going to be huge for a team to go land him. Wouldn't be surprised, though, if they do end up holding on to him after he kind of exercises the portal and see where he ends up at. Reading Brian's text here real quick. All right, yeah, Brian's going to be joining me here any second. So, yeah, Drew Mestamaker from North Texas hops in the portal as well. I mean, this thing is just littered with top-tier quarterbacks that are absolute studs that are going to be getting really good jobs. We have a comment coming in from Mike Levitt to Indiana. Dude, Indiana is definitely going to get a top quarterback out of this portal. With what they've put out in Curtis Rourke and now Mendoza, everybody's going to want to go play for Cignetti, to your point, Mike. And these top quarterbacks are highly interested in everything he has to offer. Just kind of scrolling down this list a little bit on some guys we didn't talk about. A top cornerback gets in the portal, and Jay Crawford from Auburn. He slides in at number 10 per On3's rankings. Hollywood Smothers, NC State's running back. I'm sure a lot of people know him. Slides in and is instantly the number 1 ranked running back in the transfer portal as well. A guy that I'm completely in love with that I talked about all season is Jace Brown, the Kansas State wide receiver. I think this guy is going to be a huge get for anybody he lands with. I would love to see a team, obviously, that I'm a fan of Mizzou, so I would love to see Mizzou get in on Jace Brown. I think this guy is vastly underrated, and I think he's going to be a huge get for somebody. Just kind of scrolling down this list a little bit more to talk about some guys that we didn't talk about last episode. Obviously, if you are a Mizzou fan, I'm sure you already know the news that Bo Perbula has hopped in the portal. So Mizzou is kind of pushing either their chips in all on Matt Zollers for next season, or they are going to exercise the portal as well as some of these other teams looking for a quarterback. I'm under the impression kind of that they may roll with Zollers. I do think that the question is out there, do they go get a backup for Zollers in the portal? Or do they try to get a guy that may run Zollers off, honestly? So I think that's what they're kind of balancing right now. Everything sounds good so far on the front. If you're a Mizzou fan, that they are holding on to Alubade and Ahmad Hardy and doing everything they can to hold on to Jamal Roberts. So those are obviously the focal points of the guys that you have to hold on to, with Zollers as well. Another guy that Mizzou lost this week to the portal is Javion Hilson. He was a 4-star defensive lineman defensive end coming out of high school, was a freshman this year, just didn't get into the rotation. So this is actually a pretty impactful loss for this Missouri Tigers football team. This was a guy I was hoping that we didn't lose. But what I find a little crazy is I think that's like 8 or 9 players from Mizzou that's already hopped in the portal, and it seems a little early on. Like, it officially hasn't even truly opened up all the way yet, and Mizzou's got 8 or 9 guys hopping in the portal. It kind of brings up the question, is something going on that we don't know about, or is this just modern-day college football? And even when you retain your coach, these guys still want to go exercise to see if they can get a little bit more love elsewhere. So, hey, Bryant's joining us right here. This ought to be good. I can tell that Bryant is in his vehicle. This is true dedication right here. Bryant going to come onto the show from his truck. This is awesome. Bryant, how you doing?
What's going on? Good. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. You sound great.
Yeah, sorry for the bad background, but I'm here.
Hey, dude, I think it's a great background. I love it. What you did miss is I went live and I was by myself and talked for 30 seconds. And the whole 30 seconds, Brian, I was muted. I didn't have nobody to save me. So I was just here rambling on, and I had nobody sitting here to tell me that I was muted until it flashed up on my screen. So that did bail me out. But no, just talking a little portal stuff here, was kind of putting a bow on it right there, actually talking about a good time for you to join in. Want to get your input a little bit on why do you think there's so many Mizzou players hitting the portal already?
I don't know, man. It's interesting. It seems like there's a lot more this year that's moved in. And the funny part is the portal's not even open yet. So
yeah, that's what I was just saying.
2 weeks until it's officially open.
Yep.
So I don't know. I understand the receivers. I think I understand Bo too. I don't really get some of these defensive end guys, and some of the linemen that have gone in much. But it's hard to know what other teams are telling them, whether it's a true offer or whatever it may be. But I don't know. It's interesting, but I trust in Drink. He's done really well the past, ever since this portal thing kind of took off. He's done really well backfilling players that have been lost. So I'll put my trust in him. But yeah, it's a little bit nerve-wracking when you see so many guys leaving but none coming in, but they really even can't come in yet because it's not open.
Yeah, at a rapid rate, man. It's happening fast. That's to your point, and we both kind of said the same thing. It's not even really open yet, and you got a lot of guys that are already in this. The Prebula thing, the only thing that shocked me about that, Brian, is I looked at his transfer portal rating, and he was like a 91, like almost a 92 4-star transfer rating. I thought that was a little shocking, and I'm not trying to dog on the guy. I mean, we tried to talk him up as much as we could when he was here playing for the Tigers, but we all know he struggles a little bit, and you could put some of that on Kirby Moore. You could put some of that on Bo Prebula as well. I thought that rating was a little high. I was a little shocked to see that. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but that was pretty shocking to me.
I had not seen his rating, but that seems a little bit high. I think I would have had him like at 88 or 89 maybe. I still think he's got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
I think the injury kind of derailed him a little bit. He was getting kind of right at the right time until Vandy, he got that injury at Vanderbilt during that game. He just got to work on his pocket presence mostly. I don't know if that was a scheme deal or if that was just how he kind of is, at least his first season starting. Yeah. Man, it seemed like every time he would do a 3 or 5 step drop, he was getting happy feet, regardless of the pressure situation. So if he can work on that and tighten it up, I think he can be a really good quarterback, but it's going to be somewhere else.
Yeah, last thing on Prebula here, there's reports. Who knows how true it is? It's hard to believe a lot of the stuff on social media right now, even though they get it right a lot of the times. But there's reports that supposedly Penn State's trying to pay him and bring him back. Is that true? Yeah. Who knows? Last thing, too, right before we hopped on here, I think I saw Josh Hoover put his name in the hat to join the portal as well. Pretty sure that happened. That's another good quarterback in the portal coming out of TCU. Anything else on the portal? I covered a lot of names for you. Hopped in here, Bryant. If not, we can get right into the big games we want to talk about.
No, all I got to say is buckle up because I have a feeling this is going to be the wildest transfer portal we've had yet. Um, I didn't think we topped last year's, but here we are. We got a lot of these guys that kind of talked about it on Tuesday. Yeah, they're top 20 now, but they might be 200 by the time it's all
Yeah.
said and done. So there's going to be some big eye-opening names that are going to enter, and you're going to be like, "Wow, did not see that coming." So stay tuned.
With all the coaching change, it's going to be nuts on the portal. It's going
Yes.
to have to be. We're going to be
Mm-hmm.
in here talking a lot of portal stuff throughout the off season, even through the playoffs. So, with that being said, let's review real quick mine and Bryant's picks. So I'm going to slide me and Bryant to the side. Look at that background, Bryant. That's a nice background.
That is nice.
I'm going to slide Bryant and myself to the side here and throw
Happy
up Bryant.
holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays, baby. We're a week away from Christmas. That's crazy. All right, so first game of the playoffs is tomorrow night. We're about to get into that game. But just a reminder, if you're with us on YouTube here, and if you're not, if you're on Apple or Spotify, the graphic you obviously won't be able to see. But if you're on YouTube, you can check this graphic out here that we made. Bryant has Oregon beating JMU, Bama beating Oklahoma, Ole Miss beating Tulane, Miami beating A&M throughout this first weekend. And then as you can see, the rest of his picks, they all are in front of you right there. Bryant has Oregon playing Georgia in the finals with Georgia winning it. So those are Bryant's picks. We will discuss them more as we go on to see who's doing better. We obviously have Nolan's and Dave's too. Not going to discuss theirs tonight because they're not here. But as we get through each round of the playoffs, we'll review and try to keep score and keep tally of who's doing the best. And I have Oregon beating JMU, Alabama beating Oklahoma, Ole Miss beating Tulane, Miami beating A&M as well. And this was a shock to some people. I had some people that watched our show when we made these picks talk to me about how they thought I was crazy. But I do have Alabama playing Ohio State. And I made that justification in the sense of Alabama is loaded with talent. They're top 3, top 4 in this playoff with the best talent. It's just a matter of if they can get that momentum and get hot at the right time. The last 4 weeks, they haven't looked like themselves, but they've kind of hung on, and here they are, and now they're here to make a point. And I think Kalen DeBoer is going to coach with a chip on his shoulder. Ty Simpson's going to play with a chip on his shoulder. And, I got Bama playing Ohio State, and Ohio State winning it all. So there's my pick.
We saw that last year. Notre Dame made a run from the first round to the championship. So I wouldn't say I fully expected to happen, but it would not shock me to see one of the teams from 5 through 12, well, probably 5 through 10, make a run.
Yeah, 5 through. I would agree with you on that for sure. Like we said on the last episode, all those teams that had that first round bye, they all lost last year. Like it's you sit there and you get a little stale, man. You lose all the momentum that you built up this whole season. So the first game here of the playoffs is Friday 12-19 tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on ABC and ESPN. That's number 9 Alabama at number 8 Oklahoma. This line, Bryant, has been everywhere. It is now Oklahoma minus 1.5 with an over-under of 39.5. Bama 10-3, Oklahoma 10-2. Bryant, what are you looking at in this football game and which direction? I know you're going to lean Bama because that's your pick, but tell us kind of why you're leaning Bama as well.
I think the struggles that Ty Simpson and this offense has had, I think they're going to get healthy and get Jam Miller back. I think that's going to help. You know, they're going to be able to look at film in this game that was only, a month and a half ago where they barely lost to Oklahoma and be able to build and see what they did wrong. Because personally, I don't think Oklahoma has really improved or changed much since that game.
No.
You know, at least on the offensive side of the ball, they might have gotten worse. So, I think it's whatever offense plays better. Both teams have really good defenses. I think Oklahoma's is better, but Alabama has way more talent on offense. If they can get any semblance of a run game, which they absolutely did not in that championship game with Georgia, they need to get that going. If they can get that going, you know, get 100 yards at least on the ground, I think they're going to win the football game. I think some time away will help this 2-week layover that Ty Simpson has had. Maybe a little bit of a reset, get his mind cleared, and start playing like he did from, you know, before Halloween to the beginning of the season rather than the last month, and lock down and lock in and get all those talented receivers involved and move the ball. So I think Bama's going to win this game. I think it's going to be tight. Helps it's in Norman for Oklahoma, but they just can't do anything on offense. And, you know, they haven't really showed me anything in the last month and a half to, you know, ever since Mateer came back. They haven't proved it all. So I'm going with Bama.
What's crazy too is Bryant, you're free balling this thing, no notes. You're just going from the cuffs right here in the parking garage. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah. So to your point with Ty Simpson, the last 4 games he's got 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Has not looked like Ty Simpson. There's kind of rumors out there. Is Ty Simpson hurt? What's going on there? And you kind of see that on social media a little bit. I think we're going to get a different Ty Simpson, man. I think Ty Simpson's going to be ready to go. One of the questions that I do have as well is the Alabama defensive injuries. Those are kind of piling up a little bit. The injury report looked a little thick. I don't know what to expect out of that. That's my only concern because this is going to be a rock fight, man. This is going to be
Dude, Alabama's injury report's been like 15, 20 people long all season.
Yeah,
when they played Mizzou, Mizzou had like 3 and they had like 15.
Yep.
And I don't think it really makes a whole lot of difference, but with how they're deep they are, but you never know.
What Bama needs to do defensively too is they need to keep the play in front of them. Oklahoma is not a methodical offense. They are not, 6-7 yards and then first down and continue a drive. They are explosive play heavy that they do not move the ball well. So you got to keep Satania in front of you if you're Alabama's defense. And if you're Oklahoma on the flip side of that, you're looking for him to catch the ball and get loose like he does so often. And that's their ride or die, it feels like, in that offense, man, because they can't run the ball. Yep. Neither one of these teams can run the ball, matter of fact. And both these defenses are very, very good. Also, to your point about the John Mateer thing, man, we've been kind of on his ass a little bit, and maybe it's not been fair, but I feel like it's very justifiable, dude. He cannot read a defense. I think Alabama's going to generate some pressure, get a couple different exotic looks on him, and get after him and make him make a big-time play. And I don't know if he can. I think whenever the more he's asked to do, Brian, I feel like the worse off he and Oklahoma are as a team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because he gets a little bit of the happy feet too. He does not look confident. If his Satania is not open, there's really no other option. He just tries to tuck it and run, it seems like. He's not the best at running the ball either. So he's getting 2-3 yards or sacked, and then they're behind the sticks.
He's too much of that hero ball like we talk about so often with them. And Bama wins this football game the last time if they just take care of the ball. So if they take care of the ball and do their thing, and I agree, you might see Jam Miller's name come back up again later in this episode. Jam Miller takes care of the ball, and they lean on him, and Ty Simpson takes care of the ball. I like Alabama in this football game. And I think I don't want to say comfortably, but I think they can get semi-comfortable in this football game, Brian.
I hope. It's just wild to see an over-under in college football under 40. That's an NFL over-under, not a college over-under. So this is probably going to be a rather boring game to watch if it plays out like it shows on paper with the defenses being the strengths of both teams. But, it wouldn't surprise me if this game's like 35-31 either.
A Bama game over under 40. That's usually service academies. Talking service
yes.
academies usually.
That's an Army-Navy line from last week.
Yes. All right, Brian, let's move on to this next one here. Miami at Texas A&M. This game's Saturday, the 20th at 11 a.m. on ABC. That's number 10 Miami at number 7 Texas A&M. A&M minus 3.5, over under 48.5. This, to me, which I know the other 2 games that we're going to talk about next aren't as difficult to judge, but this is a very difficult game for me to gauge and judge, Brian. I think at 1 minute I'm leaning that Miami is the better football team. At 1 minute I'm leaning A&M matches up well, and they have the home field advantage. So I'm kind of anxious to see where you're at on this one. I know we both have A&M advancing per our picks, but we also
have Miami advancing.
Yeah, we both have Miami advancing. Sorry,
yes,
and on our picks, but I know that was a week ago, so we can't really change those picks. Are you still happy with your pick in Miami?
I am. It just makes me nervous. What Miami team on offense are we going to get? Is Carson Beck going to protect the ball and not turn it over? I think if they do that, they win the football game. We talked about it all season. If Miami does not turn the ball over, they win games. They're talented enough. They got a bunch of weapons on the outside with Tony and Daniels. They can run the ball efficiently enough to get them short yardage, second and third downs to be able to move the ball methodically down the field. And I think their defense is better than A&M's personally. They have guys at every position. It's just a matter of can the offense protect the ball and score points, which I think they will in this game. Kyle Field is a tough place to play, but I think Miami is going to be prepared for that. Carson Beck has played there before. in environments like that, so that's not going to get to him. Granted, this is a playoff, but that might be a little different, but I don't think so. Uh, and A&M, if you dig into their schedule, man, they really have never been tested all season besides the Texas game. And, well, the South Carolina game, but that South Carolina kind of folded for them and they came back in the second half. But Texas was the game they lost, and that was probably the best team they played at that point in the season. So what team are we going to get with Texas A&M? Is Marcel Reed going to look lost? Is he going to start just tucking and running like he did in that game? Is he fully healthy? There's just a lot of question marks, it seems like, with A&M on that side of the ball especially, where I think it gives Miami the edge.
Yeah, man. I think the biggest question for me is Kyle Field for this Miami football team. And then we have to discuss what we always discuss, Bryant. It's Mario Cristobal. This is a big game. It's a big moment. People are pissed off Miami's in this thing. They have a lot to prove, so they can either channel that and use it to their advantage, or Mario Cristobal can be the reason that this team absolutely melts. To your point, you are 100% correct. When Carson Beck takes care of the football, Miami is not tested. When Carson Beck's throwing the ball all over the place and not reading the defense and throwing it in traffic and turning the ball over, they lose their football games. And that team relies heavily on that. And with the play calling I guess the game managing of Mario Cristobal, I should say. So how does that work out as well? I also am really excited to see how this A&M secondary does with this Miami receiving corps. This Miami receiving corps is very talented.
That's the key to the game is the secondary of A&M and the receivers of Miami. Whoever wins that matchup, I think, wins the game.
Yes, and we've been talking all season, calling Malachi. I think we were on this week one, calling Malachi Toney the next Tyreek Hill. This dude is an absolute monster. He's a freshman. I'm excited to watch him. On the flip side of this, man, A&M's receivers and Concepcion and Craver are honestly just as good as anybody's damn near. Like, they're a really good 1-2. If I think, too, what the question is Le'Veon Moss healthy? Is Le'Veon Moss on the field for this A&M football team? If he is, they're a different offense. If not, it puts a little bit more pressure on Marcel Reed. And Marcel Reed and Carson Beck are kind of the same in the sense of prone to turning the ball over when the moment gets a little bit too big and they don't have the run game to rely on. So I think one of these two teams has to establish the run early and make it effective. That way their quarterback feels comfortable in this football game. If not, you're going to see a lot of Marcel Reed running around. You're going to see a lot of Carson Beck throwing this thing in traffic. Anxious to see how that plays out. Massive coaching edge, in my opinion, to Texas A&M and Elko, and the home field advantage helps them as well. I think Miami is the much better football team, though, on field, personally. We talked all season, dude, about how Miami has the best trenches in the country. Their offense and defensive line are so damn good. With that being said, how have they seen an offensive line like Texas A&M? Probably not. But has Texas A&M seen a defensive line like Miami's in quite some time, if at all this season? I don't think so. Texas is good, but Miami's, I think, is better. So this is going to be a really, really good matchup, and this might be the matchup of the playoffs, man. This is a fantastic football game to get this thing going on Saturday.
Yeah, this is the best matchup of the first round for sure, at least talent-wise on the field, going head-to-head. I think another thing to watch here is which offensive line performs better. I think both of these teams kind of rely on their pass rush to either A, generate turnovers, or B, end drives before they should end. So if Miami can keep Beck upright and vice versa with A&M, I think that's going to be another key factor in this game as well.
Absolutely. Make sure you're tuned into that one. That one's Saturday at 11 a.m. on ABC. The next thing we're going to talk about here is Tulane at Ole Miss. That's number 11 Tulane at number 5 Ole Miss. This game's Saturday the 20th as well at 2:30 p.m. on TNT. Ole Miss minus 17.5, over under 56.5. This is a rematch, Bryant, so I'm not as pumped up for this football game. Ole Miss kind of kicked their ass the first, what was it, 45-10? 45-10?
Yes, 45-10, yes.
So this was an ass kicking the first time. We both talked today, and we both do believe this is going to be a little bit closer than what it was the last time, we believe. But I still think it could get away from Tulane. And the one big question that I have, that surely this can't be true, is Trinidad Chambers supposedly has been talking about sitting out this game. There's no way that's true.
I have not. I looked into it a little bit. I have not seen anything. That might have just been a hearsay rumor. I don't know why he would. that'd just be ignorant. But you never know. They're college kids, so he might have seen a bag or got an offer from somebody, and you never know. But
Maybe
I
old
don't
Lane
think that'll
got a hold
happen.
of him.
Yeah. Let's just say he sits out. I don't think it's happening. But is Austin Simmons, is he healthy to play?
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, they still won the game with Austin Simmons, I think.
Yes, no doubt.
So I think this game's definitely going to be closer, like we talked about earlier, and like you just mentioned. I still don't think Tulane has much of a chance. I think they have a better chance than JMU does in the next game we're going to talk about. I think they're a better football team there, but we've seen it. Ole Miss beat them already. They have the kind of the path to how they can just kind of redo that in this game and do it again. I don't think I think Ole Miss is going to play with a chip on their shoulder with the whole Lane thing going on. They're going to play
Yeah,
for Pete Golding. I think they're going to play hard for him. And they haven't really. They've been pretty healthy, and they're coming into this game healthy too. So this is going to be closer than people think. I don't think Tulane's going to go out and cover by any means, but it's going to be a closer game than last time. But Ole Miss is going to come out on top. They're just better all around.
yeah. There's honestly really not too much to this one. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, it's a playoff game. John Summerall, obviously, I think if you want to have that conversation, took a job at Florida, so he's no longer going to be Tulane's coach. He's going to coach in this football game and throughout the playoffs if they were to win this game. But, I mean, that's a talking point, I guess. Lane Kiffin being gone mid-season on this Ole Miss team before the playoffs, that's a talking point, I guess. I don't want to give too much talking points to the coaches here. That Tulane's defense is really, really bad. They're really, really bad. I know they slowed up North Texas, but I think North Texas slowed themselves up. I don't really think Tulane slowed North Texas up, if that makes sense. I mean, Mestamaker
Yes.
played his worst game I've ever seen. So I think that was more so what happened in this football game. And North Texas damn near found their way back to a victory almost. So what you saw in this first game too was Jake Retzlaff was new into the system, and they ended up making a quarterback change mid-game because he was new into the system and it wasn't working out well in that game. But I think what Tulane and Jake Retzlaff have to do in this football game is they have to utilize his legs a little bit more. He's more comfortable now. So I think that there are going to be times when they can go make plays because honestly, Brian, I don't think Ole Miss's defense is world beaters either. And I really don't think
No.
that their offense is world beaters either, man. I think they're just a pretty well-rounded team, and they play as a team. And they rely heavily on Kawan Lacey to run the football, and he's done a great job of that all season. I think you're going to see more of that in this football game. And I think you're going to see Caden Lee have a big game. Trinidad Chambliss try to find him often. So it can be a good football game for a little bit, I think. I just don't know how long it's going to be. Tulane has to have the run game or they're in trouble.
Yes. I think I wouldn't surprise me to see Tulane go down the field and score on their first drive, take like a 7-0 lead because Retzlaff has played some games now and he's understood what he's got to do with his team. He's going to play better than the first round, our first matchup. But Ole Miss is going to take over. They just got better players at almost every position. They're just going to need to limit because Tulane's going to try to make this a possession game where they just have the ball and not give it to Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is going to need to not allow that to happen and then let their offense cook.
Absolutely. So I'm going to push back on a point you made a second ago in the sense I agree with you 100% that I think Tulane has a better chance than JMU for the longest time. But the more I dug into this game today that we're about to talk about, Brian, this number 12, James Madison at number 5, Oregon. That's also Saturday night at 6:30 p.m. on TNT. Oregon minus 21.5, over under 47.5. But, Brian, the more I dug into this football game, the more that I think JMU – I don't think that – listen, let me make this clear before I get going too much. JMU's not going to win this football game. I don't think that they have the chance to win this football game. But I think they can keep this game close for a little bit of time. I think they could keep this close into the third quarter, maybe through 3 quarters. Statistically, they're a top 2 defense in the country. Now,
yes,
does their resume replicate that? No, because they haven't really played nobody. But that's still something, right? And what I think JMU likes to do is they like to take the air out of the football, run the shit out of it, and limit possessions on the other side of the football and not allow the other team to run it up on them or really have a chance. They kind of suck the life out of their opponents. They rely on that defense to go get stops. I think that they can maybe do that in this football game a little bit, Brian, with the Oregon injuries and how bad Oregon is at defending the run. Oregon is not a good team against the run, and JMU is a really good team at running the football. Wayne Knight and Alonzo Barrett are really good 1-2 at running the football. One's a quarterback, one's a running back. Most people probably don't know those names or know anybody on this JMU team, but you're going to hear those two names a lot. So I think they can hang around in this football game. I know they got beat by 14 points against Louisville, and that was the first thing I looked at too, right? I'm like, okay, who was the toughest opponent? Louisville. Okay, they lost to him by 14. Oregon's going to absolutely kill him. Early on in the season, JMU hung around in that football game for a long time, made it interesting, and Louisville just happened to stretch it out. I think with the injuries, man, I think Oregon is going to have their hands full for a little bit.
Yeah, Dante Moore's going to have to be able to throw the ball because JMU, like you said, is number 2 defense, but they're number 1 or 2 against the run in FBS. And it kind of like a basketball analogy, defense travels in college basketball. I think in college football, run defense kind of travels no matter if you're G5 or Power 4. They're going to be able to stop the run, I think, against Oregon as better than people think they probably will be able to, especially with Oregon's offensive line injuries. I think they're going to get one guy back, but they're still going to have 2 freshmen starting on the offensive line. So Dante Moore's going to have to make plays through the air. I think he's going to be able to do it relatively easily. I don't think JMU's secondary is going to be able to keep up with any of these receivers or the tight end with Sadiq. So look for that. I think it's going to be a pass-heavy scheme for Oregon this week. And I think they're going to be able to score the ball relatively easily on this team, at least through the air. And then James Madsen's going to have to grind out some drives to stay in this game. JMU, they're a good football team. It's going to be tough to overcome, especially on the road in Eugene.
I think for me, though, with those offensive injuries, let's not forget DeCorian Moore's pretty banged up. How does he look in this game? Is Oregon really Oregon knows they're 99% sure they're going to win this football game, so are they willing to risk a worse injury for DeCorian Moore in this football game, or are they just going to not let him play much, get a little bit of reps, but not a lot? Same thing with Kenyon Sadiq. I think it's going to be a big game for Malik Benson. I think you're going to see Jeremiah McClellan. Jeremiah McClellan played quite a bit in this football game too. I think it's going to be a young offense for Dante Moore to throw the ball around to, so I'm anxious to see how it kind of works out and if they're willing to push all their chips in this football game, knowing that they're probably going to win it. So I think Oregon runs the ball a lot in this football game. They're a really good run team. I know their line's banged up, and I know JMU's run defense is really good. But I think that they're going to want to get off the field at a rapid pace too. I think both these teams are going to limit possessions and run the shit out of it and make this the fastest game in the whole entire playoffs.
Yeah, if I'm Oregon, I'm doing what you just said. I get JMU has a good run defense, but let's go right after their strength. Let's get Whittington going. Get some outside runs, stretch the field a little bit, see those guys can make plays, outside the tackle box, and see what that does. I think they'll be able to make plays that way. That's what I would do. So I think they're gonna, I said he's gonna have to be able to pass the ball, but why not try to beat them with the run first and try to figure out if you can beat their strength?
Yeah, if you can come out early and you can strong arm them, kind of what your weakness is, like on your offensive line in the run game versus their strength, and you can strong arm them and be better at them than that, you're going to have your way all game long and just run it, limit possessions, and go win you a football game and get out of there without any injuries would be my goal.
Absolutely.
Anything else on any of these playoff games, Brian, before we go to the book it segment? We kind of knew this episode wouldn't be as long. We're not going to talk any bowl games here, man. We're talking playoffs only, and that's all the people care about right now, really. So if you don't have anything else, we can get into our book it segment.
No, I'm good. Let's roll into it.
All right, let's get right into our book it segment here. Hey, shopping books and buying hooks. You know how we do things here at Deep Threat Sports Network. We are 86 and 87. We're one game under. We're looking to get back on top, looking to have a pretty high hit rate this weekend. Things are going to look a little bit different because Bryant and I went out on a limb, and we got 4 prop plays for you this week. First time we're ever doing that on a book it segment, but damn, do we feel good about them. So, Bryant, we don't have to kick Nolan or Dave out, and we've had a lot better luck without them around when this book it segment comes up. So we're just going to roll right into things here. Are you able to see it, or are you not able to see it? Okay, perfect. All right, I'll take the first one here. Alabama at Oklahoma. Bryant and I have already made our case, made our picks, talked about why we think Bama gets this thing done. Get Alabama +2, book it.
Absolutely. Our next one, we kind of alluded to with our picks at the brackets before we talked about the games. We're rolling with Miami on the road. Get it Miami at +4. We're going to book that.
Miami at Texas A&M, staying right there. We're going to go ahead and take 2 for you here in this football game. Give us over 47 in this football game. Brian, I think that both these teams are going to be able to score. I don't think either one of these defenses are going to slow them down enough for this game to not hit the over. So over 47, book it.
Sorry, truck about to shut off. I'm turning back on here.
No, you're good.
Last one we're taking with the game picks is JMU at Oregon. We're going to take under 48 in that game. Kind of talked about it a little bit. JMU likes to take the ball out of the air. I think it's going to be a little bit of a slow-paced game, not as high scoring as you may think. So we're taking Oregon JMU under 48.
Perfect. So that's all 4 of our game picks. As you see, we did not make a pick in that Tulane Ole Miss game. So, Bryant, if you had to make a lean, what way would you lean real quick? This is not a book it play, but give us a lean if you got one.
We kind of talked about it a little bit. We didn't really like much in that game. I think we talked about if we were going to take a pick in that game, it was going to be the under 57.
Yeah, I think you leaned under 57. I was with that a little bit. Didn't love it. Wasn't really good enough to book it. And I also did lean Tulane plus 18, but that's just a lean for me as well.
Yeah, so not putting on the segment, but if I were to do it, it'd be Tulane to cover or the under.
Yep, absolutely. All right, first prop play for you in Deep Threat Sports Network history on the Book It segment. Wayne Knight over 59.5 rushing yards. It's sitting at minus 140. Book it. That's the running back for JMU, as most of you may not know that guy's name, but you're going to hear his name a lot in that Oregon JMU football game. Wayne Knight over 59.5 rushing yards. Book it.
Yeah, one thing real quick. Some people are wondering, well, why can't you buy a hook on 59? Well, you can only buy hooks on spreads and over-unders and stuff. You cannot buy hooks on props. So take it at over 59.5. We are confident there. Our next pick is Caden Lee, the wide receiver for Ole Miss, over 39.5 receiving yards at minus 160. We're going to book that.
Hey, second to last prop leg play for you. Mario Craver over 49.5 receiving yards, sitting at minus 125. The receiver from Texas A&M says he's healthy, says he's good to go. Love Mario Craver in this football game. Hey, he can catch one slant pass, Bryant, and go for 70 yards. It's only going to take one for Mario Craver. Over 49.5 receiving yards. Book it.
That's probably my favorite one. Like you said, he can hit that in one play. Our next one, the last one we're doing is Jam Miller over 39.5 rushing yards at minus 140. We're going to book that. Think they're going to try to get him going and lean on him a little bit. He's going to have a bunch of touches. Hopefully he stays healthy. He's had some issues with that, but we're going to take him to get 40-plus yards rushing. Book it.
What Mike just said is 100% correct. If your Bama pick hits, it's because your Miller pick hits. Couldn't agree more.
Exactly.
Like Bryant and I are leaning heavy on the Jam Miller being healthy and going and getting the job done for this Alabama football team and establishing the run game. And that is an extremely – I know Oklahoma's defense is really good, but that's an extremely, extremely low line at 39.5 rushing yards, Bryant. This could hit in the first quarter and a half if Jam Miller's healthy and stays on the field in this football game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's see how this goes. We're not going to separate our prop picks from our book it record. We're going to die on this hill. You know how we do things. We're honest. We're not going to change nothing. We go 0 for 4. Well, we'll just write down that we're never going to do this again. But we tried to make it a little bit fun this week. I do get a lot of questions. What props do you like out there? So Bryant and I put our heads together and found some of these that we like. There was like 5 or 6 more that we liked, but we had to keep it realistic. We love, just so you guys know, we liked every receiving prop in the Miami A&M game. We liked the Concepcion line, liked the C.J. Daniels line, liked the Tony line. Like, we liked all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tony's was like, 79.5?
Yes.
That seemed a little bit high, but I could still easily see him hitting that. He's going to be, targeted heavily.
He's the focal point of that offense.
Yeah, those Texas A&M Miami lines for the receiver position were all juicy. I think Concepcion's was 59.5. Daniels was somewhere, I think, right there where Cravers was. So, yeah.
I think C.J. Daniels might have been 29.5 or 39.5. It was low.
I think it was 39. Yeah, 39, yes.
So, yeah, and I'll be the first to tell you, I put a 5-leg prop parlay in with all 4 of these plus C.J. Daniels. So, we'll see how that goes, man. But a lot of good stuff this weekend. Starting tomorrow night, make sure you're tuned in. This is what we did everything all season for right here to get to this point in the playoffs. Bryant, it's thanks for joining us from the parking garage, and
Yep.
glad you got to get in here tonight. Anything else from me before we get out of here?
I'm good. Looking forward to. There's a few other bowl games this week that are good, but nothing's like the playoffs is what we've looked forward to all season. So, looking to see how these first 4 games in the first round play out. Excited to see the atmospheres on the on-campus games too.
Yeah, that's what's really cool, man. This weekend is these games are home games. It's really exciting for these fans to get in there and watch their team play one more home game for the 4 teams that get to do it this weekend. So going to be an exciting atmosphere. Looking forward to it as well. All right, Brian, I'm going to get us out of here, buddy. And, hey, playoffs are here. Let's get this thing going. You can follow us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Deep Thread Sports, X, DT_sports_, Facebook, Deep Thread Sports Network. Happy holiday. Just had a stumbled over my words here. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Thanks for rocking with us. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. College football is all signals go now. Brian, until next time, buddy. Peace.